Are you afraid of dying? If so, why? I was recently diagnosed with cancer and that made me afraid. Funny thing is I never thought I would be, but now I am. I'm mostly afraid of not being able to experience things in my life that I would want to experience, like marry myself, buy our first home, go to vacation, etc. I'm also afraid what my death would do to my partner and parents. And of course I'm afraid of pain and dying alone in some hospital. So yeah, let's hope I will recover and not have to think about this for another 50-ish years. Yeah, I'm pretty young. That's the way to word this question. Yes, I am. I'm not scared of being dead, but I'm very scared of becoming dead. I'm even more scared of nearly dying, but surviving with a ducked up brain or something. My best friend had a near-death experience the other day, the day after we chilled, and he told me that little accident made him realize he actually is scared of death, because there's so much he still needs to do. I wasn't, but now I am, because I have more to lose. Not really, but I'm afraid of painful death. So hopefully it's painless when it happens. I think I'd just be disappointed. My life has gotten to a place I enjoy, after struggling for a long time. It would suck to die after all the hard work. At the beginning of this month I finally realized I enjoyed my life. I'm not just living to live. I actually like my life and don't want things to go away. And now I have so much anxiety it's hard to actually enjoy life. Why are our brains so ducked? Edit. A lot of people are asking about therapy. I don't think I need that quite yet. I felt this way about 13 years ago, before I got my first dog. And now those ideas are coming back as she gets close to passing. It's been a month, and reducing in severity. If I wasn't getting better, I would sign up for therapy of some sort. Not really. I'm more afraid of how I die. I hope I die at age 100 in my bed, and not murdered by some bored psychopath. If you could die at 200, with a healthy mind and body, would you prefer that over 100? How about 400 ? 800? And so on. Not up, but I'll definitely take it. 200 years of healthy mind and body. Why not take it? There's so much shit to do I don't get why anyone would want to go. Hell, I'll take 1000 years, if I can get it. I hated my life before. I tried killing myself. I failed. So now I'm such a scared cat, because I love my life and the people I surround myself with. I don't want that to end. I'm grateful for my survival. Natural instinct and probably the uncertainty of it all. I know when you're dead, you stop existing and you no longer think, feel, do anything, but at the same time it just seems so unreal to me. I'll never be able to experience anything truly from another perspective, so how can my point of view just cease to be one day? Logically, it will happen. But mentally I can wrap my mind around the fact that I will die and there will be nothing. That I'll experience nothing else and not even be aware of it. While I'm not afraid of death, I would say that I'm afraid of dying. Mostly because of natural survival instincts. I am. Because I'm 31, and I'm waiting for almost 10 years to finally start the life I want, but can't due to financial reasons and depression. I just want to live a good life and I'm afraid that I wasted too much time and that it will be too late for me to finally be happy. I am. Because if there is no place you go to after, then I just stop existing. I will not be in nothingness. I will not be in black. My thoughts will just stop existing. I will never do anything ever again. No. My wife died from leukemia in my arms. I've seen death, and I won't live in fear of it. I'm trying to fill the unforgiving minute with 60 seconds worth of distance run. I'm okay with the idea of dying. It doesn't scare me, but I do worry about the impact it would have on my family. Edit. I'm glad to see others agree. I know many people who don't believe me when I say it, so I'm happy to read all your thoughts. Thank you for the awards too. Strangers, close bracket. Seem to be going against the majority here, but yes, What freaks me out is when I think about what comes next and the possibility or likelihood of it just being a /nothingness and your life is done. Although I won't feel anything or miss anything, similar to before I was born, the thought still really scares me when I think a lot about it. I think one of the major things that scare me about dying is the concept of eternity. I mean, when you die, you're dead forever. And it scares me not to know how that feels like. How does it feel like not to be alive? Forever? IDK. It's kind of an oxymoron situation. Because being dead doesn't feel like anything, since your capacity to feel is gone. That's also probably part of the fear factor. The uncertainty and the not knowing part of what being dead feels like really gets me. I don't like not knowing things. The part that gives me existential crisis is more the concept of eternity before I was born, rather than the concept of eternity after. Regarding matter and energy itself, which I'll refer to as existence, Occam's razor should say that all of it shouldn't exist. Why should it? There should just be nothing. The most simple and least complex answer. However, we exist and of course that's wrong. That means there can't be a start point or an end point to the existence. Any origin point would require pre-existing conditions for it to happen, which in itself would be existence, since it is not nothing. Arguments for a god/etc in this light are just circular logic, because it comes to the same result. We are here and now at a point preceded by infinity. I'm not sure whether that's comforting or horrifying, or what it means. I am, because I don't know what will happen after death. No. Dying. Yes. I just want it to be instant when it comes. I don't want the trauma, suffering, sadness. I'm actually intrigued by the process of dying. It's a universal human experience and you only get to have it one time. So I want to be conscious at the moment of death and moments leading up to it. And I don't want it to be something that would interfere with the process of my brain shutting down, like a traumatic bodily injury inducing shock or a head injury which would interrupt my final moments of awareness. I suppose everyone has their own preferences. The only part of dying I'm scared of is being forgotten. I'm really scared of being just lost. My life not really amounting to any legacy. Actually no. Thinking about it as I write, I'm scared of the slow dying that my family seems to suffer with. Dementia runs through one side, Parkinson's the other, so maybe I'll forget why I'm shaking. I'd hate to see my family watch that. I'm scared of it being forgotten. It's not so bad. We'll all be forgotten eventually. Sometimes I will think that when I die my brain will continue to function, and I will be floating in a void with my thoughts for an infinite amount of time. This is of course illogical, but I guess I sometimes think about this, because my brain can't fathom a life without it. I then remind myself that that is ducking stupid, but this idea often pops back into my mind from time to time. I am, because I don't want my kid to grow up without his father. The thought of simply not existing makes me terrified. If I die I can't listen to songs. I'm afraid of leaving my life behind. What if I die young and leave my daughter, my husband and this life I created behind? My husband will probably remarry. My daughter will be too young to remember me. I won't get to see her grow up, and I won't get the chance to have a second child. Since my mum was diagnosed with cancer 2 years ago, I have horrible health anxiety. I think the only reason we fear death is because we do not understand it, nor what happens after. It's like how we aren't scared of the dark, rather what's in it. Not knowing is probably one of our greatest fears. And I think that's why almost every religion has an afterlife, in an attempt to get rid of said uncertainty. Yes, because I have a great life and I don't like to lose it now. I'm terrified of dying. It sends me into really worrying panic attacks. I've spent many nights of many weeks trying to figure out why I have such a fear. I've come up with no answers. But every time I think about it, I become more scared. I've been afraid of dying since I was a toddler. The idea of no longer existing fills me with a deep, aching hollowness in my chest. It's the loss of absolutely everything. and it's completely inevitable and permanent. It's such a fundamental fear for me that I find it very difficult to comprehend that some people are not and have never been afraid of it. If you stripped away all that I was as a person, piece by piece, it would be one of the last things to go. Similarly, I find most people's attitudes towards the deaths of others bizarre as well. We tend to feel sorry for the family and ourselves. But the person that died just got wiped from existence. Their beautiful, complex, feeling brain has shut down. And we are sad because of how that impacts us. Also, death is rarely peaceful. So I live with the knowledge that my last precious moments of existence are probably going to be in agony and fear. That's a fun bonus. I'm not scared of dying, but the way I maybe will die. I'm afraid because I know that all memories I have made in my lifetime and everyone I have met will just disappear forever from my mind. Everything I know will disappear forever. Not to add the thought of being forgotten and leaving loved ones behind. I'm not frightened of dying. Any time will do. I don't mind. Why should I be frightened of dying? There's no reason for it. You've got to go sometime. It's not so much as dying as how I die that troubles me. The thought of being unable to go to the bathroom on my own is a terrifying thought. I'm afraid of dying too soon. Especially if we only have one life. I'm only 16, so I haven't really done anything like traveling, meeting someone etc, so I'm afraid to die now. Hopefully I won't be at the age of 80 because I've already done everything I wanted to do. I'm afraid of dying because I believe I haven't been good enough. I'm afraid of dying since I don't believe in religion or reincarnation. The thought of simply not existing ever again scares me. Once you beat cancer at 13, you definitely develop some problems with anxiety and irrational thoughts regarding death. I'm not afraid of being dead. I'm afraid of the uncertainty surrounding the process of dying. The potential suddenness or prolonged suffering, immense pain or nothingness, saying goodbye to loved ones or not even having the chance, being alone and nobody finding my body for weeks, or having people witness my death. I used to be extremely afraid of death. I stayed up at night because of the thought. But then I realized I didn't exist for billions of years until 16 years ago. I didn't feel loneliness. I didn't feel pain. I didn't feel fear. I was not conscious. I hope there is some form of reincarnation after death. But if there's not, it doesn't bother me. I'm afraid of death because what happens during death? Is it darkness without no end? Is it what we imagined as heaven? Is there even an afterlife? Existence crisis stuff. I look forward to wandering this world in the hereafter, exploring in death as a spirit that which I could not explore in life. I will visit my family's old landmarks, go to see friends, cause some mischief every now and again, and simply live wherever I please. Granted, I won't do so forever, and when I've had my fill I'll simply venture into the next life. The path to get there, though, is something that preoccupies my mind a great deal of the time. How will it happen? Will it hurt? Will I be satisfied with my life and where I've left it? Or will I seek to finish in death what I couldn't in my previous existence? So many questions. So many sleepless nights. So many waking moments of disorientation and disassociation. Life ends. Death begins. Life starts anew. Two things seemingly perpendicular to each other, but are actually one and the same. Death exists as another form of life, and life exists as an aspect of death in its own right, ending one form of existence to bring it to another, revitalized one. Dear editors, everything's connected. Two sides to the same coin. And that's what makes life so interesting, yet also so dull. So, am I afraid of dying? Not so much afraid as I'm curious as to how I'll go. I've already died twice in my life so far. From a head operation, gone awry when I was still a baby, to drowning in my grandparents' creek when I was a few years old. So death doesn't surprise me much anymore. If anything, I would greet them as an old friend, for they bring peace to the pain that is the poor circumstances of one's dying. But no, I'm not afraid. Merely, I'm expecting and accepting that I shall die, and that upon my passing I'll be healthier and stronger, unbounded and can do what I please. If anything, I'll be happy once I'm dead. Yet my life is not mine for the taking. Simply, I shall go when the time is right. I used to be scared, but now not anymore, because my sister passed at 16 years old 2.5 months ago. I'm scared of dying young, because my mom won't last any longer, considering she says she's only alive right now because of me. Yes, I think my fear mostly stems from trying to conceptualize what it feels like to have no consciousness, which obviously isn't possible. Also, the idea of ceasing to exist for all eternity just freaks me the hell out. I wasn't before, but now that I have a child I am. I need to be there for my little man no matter what. It's not so much death itself that worries me, it's more not knowing whether or not there is anything after death. The way I see it is that each and every one of us has been dead for an infinite amount of time before we were born. We weren't scared then, therefore shouldn't be scared now. We already know what it's like. There is no unknown to be afraid of. What scares me more right now is the knock-on effect my death would have on those that I care about that are still alive. That's my living thought on the matter. Although when I go in 60 years time there will be no me to ponder on this. Dying? No. I suspect it will be like before I was born. How I die. Terrified. I understand that we are in a cycle. Life leads to death and death births life, but I fear the void. Everything that surrounds you, that makes you, and every thought just stops. It's weird as sentient creatures to know that it will happen, yet so unknown what follows it. What scares me most is being unfulfilled in life and not being able to reach my goals. I'm only afraid of dying painfully. I'm afraid of death overall. I'm in my late 20s and the last few years whatever religion I was previously holding on to was let go completely. I consider myself spiritual, but I have no idea what I believe. I have some soul searching to do. I'm mostly afraid of dying because of the unknown. I have no beliefs, as of right now, of an afterlife. I really struggle with that fact that there is no scientific explanation or concrete information about what actually happens to us after death. Almost 2 years ago I lost someone who I love deeply and it shook me to my core. He was so young and full of life. His death was the first one I experienced where it felt very permanent to me. He was here and then gone and will never return again. That is so scary to compare the pain and permanence of that loss to the inevitable loss of others you love and also the loss of your own life. Nope. Seen the other side before. Basically not much there to be afraid of. Cause mom would be sad. Hey, thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.